I'm Robert Anthony.
I'm Joelle Anthony.
This is Watson. In 2020, we felt God's call in our lives to do something incredibly radical.
In 2023, we sold our flower shop, our home, just about everything we owned, and purchased our Winnebago Flex RV.
This began our trek into the vast unknown. Our mission is to take you along, showing you things you otherwise may never be able to see.
We would be so thankful to have you follow along and become part of our adventures.
Now, let's get to today's video. Holding tank. You gotta be kidding me. Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode. So this is the fifth time I've tried to cut this video, and we've had neighbors move in and they just keep doing things with the rig that are interrupting the video. Let's try it again. We are using it to flush out our gray water tank as well. Do you think I should just try to do this in the morning? So he actually is walking down the street the other way.
We're trying to find their campsite.
Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Winnebago Wednesdays. I am your host, Robert Anthony. My wife and I live full-time in a Winnebago Micro Mini Flex Series camper, and the purpose of Winnebago Wednesdays is to share with you tips and tricks and thoughts and ideas that we've had revolving around the Winnebago Flex. They can apply to any other RV, but a lot of these will apply specifically to the Winnebago Flex. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the black tank, the capacity of the tank, the cleaning of the tank, and tank solutions. If you'll stick around to the end, I'd like to ask a favor of all of you that are watching, because I would very much like to have your input as it relates to what you might be doing. But first, what I'd like to get into is specifically the black tank holding capacity. These are marketed with a fresh tank of 31 gallons, a gray tank of 25 gallons, and a black tank of 25 gallons. I've been using this. This actually runs when the water's running through it, and it tracks the gallons that are going in. I can tell you that the gray water tank is 25 gallons. It takes 25 gallons to get it to fill all the way up to where it's coming out the drains. I can tell you from doing this, having flushed the black tank out 7 times today, the most I can put in there is 19 gallons before it starts to come into the neck of the toilet. So I don't think that they put 25 gallon holding tanks on the black side. I think that those are at the most 20. So we've been misled on that. If you find footage or you find specs on these units that say that the black tank is 25 gallons. That's what I saw on mine. Maybe I misread something. I suppose that's entirely possible. Now I'll tell you, because some of you may ask, because you use these for boondocking like we do, how long we can go in our unit before we actually have to dump the black tank. We've actually done that measurement this past week because we're in an RV park doing some work camp stuff, so I'm able to do that because I'm hooked up to a dump valve. We are able to go 9 days. On the morning of the 9th day, we will have to be emptying our black tank. It is to the top. At the beginning of the 8th day, the end of the 7th day, generally speaking, what we found is the tank is filling up enough that the air for the vent stack is starting to be impeded, and when we flush the tank, it'll snap up a little bit of air into the rig, and it'll splash up a little bit. But by the 9th day, at the beginning of the 9th day, we definitely have to start either emptying at a dump station or topping off some in our little holding tank that we carry to take to the vault toilets. So there's a little bit of helpful information for you. So I was watching a video this past week that a large RV channel was talking about, and it was they were meeting with Kleen Tank to clean their black tank. Kleen Tank is a tank cleaning company franchise that goes around and cleans tanks mobily on site for RVs, and it's a great service. And in the video, the Kleen Tank representative recommended getting these Flush King reverse RV flush valves. This is made by Volterra. It is a Flush King RV flush valve. It's a reverse valve, and I think this is one of the greatest things. This is so cool. So this portion of the valve hooks to your sewer outlet on your RV. Down here, your hose hooks, and it has its own Volterra valve that opens and closes. So what you do is you hook up your hose inlet to here. You open whichever tank you're flushing. Don't do them both at the same time, but you open whatever tank that you're flushing, turn on your water, and it pushes water back up into the, let's say we're doing the black tank, back up into the black tank, lifting it from the bottom so it pushes all the sludge up instead of from the top down or from wherever the side hose comes in that are installed by the factory. It actually floods it from the bottom up. Excuse me. Which is great. It lifts everything up, pushes it out every time. Now I had to do mine. I have never had my tanks cleaned, and I had to do mine 7 times before I was running totally clear out of the black tank. Kleen Tank recommends that you do this once every 3 or 4 months, depending upon how much you're using your RV black holding tank. I think that would be adequate. So, once a quarter, we're going to be back flushing our tanks, and I think that's a really cool tool. And what I bought this flow meter. I hooked that there, and then I hooked the hose here. What this flow meter does is this flow meter lets you see how much water you're putting into your tank, so you're not having to figure out, do I have enough water in there or not? Again, this is how I've been able to deduce right here as this runs, how I've been able to deduce how much water is actually back flooding into that tank. And the most I can get in the black tank for this particular rig is 19 gallons before it starts really causing problems. So these are 2 tools I would recommend. I think that they're great. And lastly, what I'd like to talk to you about is Tank Solution. What are you guys using? Now, I follow the NRVTA, the National RV Training Academy. I'm actually going to their school in October of this year, in 2024. Going to do RV essentials and learn solar so I can start installing solar for people for money. I think that would be great. But they recommend this liquefied. They've done bench tests and they've found that liquefied is a natural enzyme. It's a great solution for breaking it down. Now here's my quandary. In doing a little research with Kleen Tank says that these solutions that liquefy the solids actually create more harm than good. They turn it into a sludge that becomes very difficult to actually work its way out of the system when you do your flush. It tends to that oatmeal type peanut butter sludge. I hate to be gross, but the solids that are broken down actually starts to settle on the bottom of the tank, and it just kind of stays there. It doesn't work its way out. I will say in this last flush here where I back flushed it a number of times, I was surprised at how much of that actually kept coming out. I can see how that could build up over time and really impede not only the tank sensors, but also the flush valve and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not sure if I'm totally sold on this. Now what Kleen Tank recommends is not the Geo method. For those of you that are familiar out there with that, they do not recommend that. They recommend a solution of pine sol mixed with Calgon bath pearls. I will put in the description below the exact measurements because I don't have them committed to memory. You're supposed to mix this up and I believe put a half a cup in your gray tank and in your black tank every time that you drain them and refill them. Don't break down the solid, but apparently the Calgon makes things more slippery, keeps everything kind of lubricated, if you will, inside the tank, making the lining of the tank and the walls of the tank more slick. And the pine sol actually just acts as a deodorant to keep the odors down in the tank. I wonder what you guys are using. Have you used that Kleen Tank solution? Have you used that pine sol Calgon solution in your tanks, and have you found success with that? Are you using a liquefied? I'm not looking at other brands of liquefied treatments or tank treatments. I do know I've used a bunch of other brands. There's a bunch of them out there. This actually, from a breakdown standpoint, has worked better than any of them that I've ever used. But I just wonder if there's some merit in this logic about not using a liquefying type solution in the tank. Kleen Tank says that our holding tanks are not meant to be septic tanks. They're meant to be just a holding tank to dump the solids. Todd that does Todd's Tech Tip Tuesdays at National RV Training Academy, and the lead education instructor there says that they have a product to sell you know, he believes that putting in tank treatments is the way to go that breaks stuff down. He makes the argument that it breaks down once it comes out of your body. Anyway, that's how your body is making the food into the ability for it to pass. So it's using enzymes and biodegrading itself. And this just speeds up the process to help it get even more liquefied as it is in your tank. I am seeing, though, some legitimacy to the argument that that actually creates a sludge that stays on the bottom of your tank, and you almost need to power clean it out. So I'd love to have your comments in the comment section below with regard to what you might be using and have you had success with either or. Please leave them in the comment section below. Links to everything that I've talked about are going to be in the description below. Comment section. Yeah, that's right. This video right here is going to be what YouTube thinks that you would want to watch next. This series of videos here are a playlist of videos, all things Winnebago Flex and RV modifications, and you might find those helpful. You might want to binge watch those, and then the circle here, you click on that, you're subscribed to our channel, and I would love to have you as a subscriber if you're not already. Till next time, I'll see you in the next one. Rob out.